Hello everyone, it's Cryptid. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a good day today. We are going to be picking up where we left off and furnishing the home that I moved my Sims into. I did make a couple changes, so we're going to go through that today as well. And then the next part, which will probably be out beginning of next week, we're going to do some gameplay. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then grab a hot drink, a blanket, and let's hang out for a while. So we're going to start off here in the living room, and the vibe that I really wanted for this house was already lived in. So the last time, in the last part, we left off with me creating the Sims for this series. We made Amaya Yates, a young adult, and her husband Eric Gallagher. But since I left off and uploaded that video, I did sort of go back in and created more Sims for storytelling purposes. So I went in and I actually created a backstory for them. So I created Amaya's grandparents and her parents. So the backstory that I had in mind for Amaya was actually that her mother passed away in a fire when she was a child, and so she and her father lived with her grandparents, which would have been her mother's parents. Her father, Jonathan Yates, struggled with the anger grief type, and it just wasn't a good situation, so he ended up leaving the home and left Amaya to be raised by her grandparents. He is currently living in Willow Creek. He's still in Amaya's life, but he's inconsistent. They have a distant family dynamic, and she feels a lot of guilt about that because she loves her dad and she remembers as a little girl that they were really close. As she's gotten older, the memories of her mother are starting to fade, and she wishes she had her dad to lean on for that. As for her life with her grandparents, they did the best they could for her. She grew up really close to her grandfather and her grandmother. Her grandfather passed away when Amaya was a teenager, which she took really hard, so it's been her and her grandmother ever since. They are best friends. Louise, her grandmother, didn't want to be alone in the house after Wilson died, so when Amaya and Eric got married, she offered them to live in the home until they could get on their feet. It's proving a little bit difficult for them because Eric has changed. He once was a very attentive partner, but following a job loss, he's been kind of stuck in a depression. He isn't pulling his weight and their relationship is strained right now, so it's not known whether or not they will survive this. So that's kind of the story that I have right now. The vibe for this build I had was that it was the family home of her grandmother, Louise, and her grandfather, Wilson. So the home is very cluttered. It looks like, you know, the cozy grandparents' home that you would typically think of. There's a lot of plants everywhere. There's a lot of really old furniture. There's a lot of antique paintings and stuff on the walls. And there's a lot of cobwebs. You know, I love to build with dirt and grime, so of course I added some of those as well. Overall, I really like how the build came out. It came out exactly as I envisioned it would. My plan for gameplay is that eventually I will remodel it to be a little bit more modern, but right now the style matches with Amaya, so it kind of depends like what her style evolves into as she ages and as I get to give her makeovers and stuff. So I'm really excited to get into gameplay and let the game take me in whatever direction that it wants. I'm planning on getting a new mod that overhauls the wants system. I don't have it in my game yet, but it does look interesting because it adds like a whole bunch of new wants for your Sims based on story and based on interactions they have. I don't plan on this series being too heavily mod focused. Like there's not going to be a whole lot of heavy gameplay mods, mainly just the ones I use all the time, which is, they add a little bit but nothing crazy. Like the mods that are gameplay focused that I have are RPO, basemental, and realistic childbirth, but otherwise, I mean, there's nothing too crazy in terms of mods. My focus for this Let's Play is just getting back into gameplay and really falling in love with the Sims family again. Like I really feel like from what I've played so far, I could easily get really obsessed with these Sims. I love them so much already, and I can't wait to share them with you next week. I'm so excited to actually start a Let's Play. I've been saying it for months and it's finally happening, and that's so exciting. And it also gives me a chance to get used to using the mic in real time. I have so much anxiety when it comes to talking in front of the mic. I always have to be alone. Nobody else can be home, and it's hard for me to formulate my thoughts in a way that makes sense when I'm talking in real time. But that might just be like a me thing because I'm just, like I said, not used to it. Because I find myself getting better. Like, if you compare my first voiceover for my builds, like compared to now, it definitely doesn't take me as long to film voiceovers. It used to take me 4 or 5 hours of just sitting here straight and editing them down, but now it takes me like an hour or 2 hours. The biggest struggle I had last time with that cast video was that I forgot to talk. There were so many points that I had to edit out because it just wasn't usable because I wasn't talking. So I like to think that I'm getting better, and I hope that you guys can hear it too. And as I go further into this Let's Play, I hope that it'll be more noticeable. My goal for this year is really to focus on my channel and my growth and my confidence too, because I don't have a lot of it, and I really think that this is helping. And who knows, maybe one day I'll do a face reveal, although that's horrifying. My voice is one thing, but the idea of having my face attached to my channel is kind of scary, and I don't really know why. I don't know how people do it though, it's so intimidating. I kind of got off on a tangent here, sorry about that. Back to the build. As you can see, I incorporated a lot of the dark wood and green tones that I love so much. I really need to get more creative because this is, I think I'm doing it too much. Before I know it, every interior of this save file is going to be dark wood and green, but it's just such a cozy color combination. I just love it so much, and I think they have a problem. I almost did her bedroom green too, but then I said that's too much, and I did it like an orangey pink kind of color. I don't know what the next build that I'm gonna do is, but I'm gonna make a promise to myself and to you guys right now that it will not be green and brown. And let me just add that when I do the remodeling or renovating of this house eventually at some point, that also will not be green and brown. I really struggled with this dining room. I feel like the space is slightly too big for the furniture that's in there. I mean, it works, but there's something about this space that calls for like a long rectangular table, but there was just not enough Sims in my household to justify that table, and then it just shrunk the space a lot. So I don't know what I'm missing in this space, but it's definitely missing something. If you guys have any suggestions about how to bring it a little bit more to life, because there's not so much clutter, it definitely feels like a more modern part of the house, but I really want this house to feel like a grandmother lived here. Oh, also, in Sims news, did you guys download The Sims 1 or The Sims 2? I've been playing a little bit of both of them. It's been so long since I've played The Sims 1 or 2. I haven't run into a whole lot of issues myself. I've seen on Twitter and Blue Sky people were getting corruption and crashing issues. I'm so glad that I'm not dealing with that. I am dealing with a little bit of a crashing bug though. Like, the game itself doesn't crash when I'm playing it, but if I go to create a family and then I leave create a family, I get stuck on the loading screen and then my game crashes. The good news though is I did see that EA, the Sims team, put out an announcement that they are aware of the issues and they're looking for a fix. So hopefully that is good and it works and it comes out quickly. But I've been having a lot of fun playing those games again. I just forgot The Sims 2. I forgot how much different that game is. I mean, the last time I played it was probably 2008. The last time I played it as like my primary Sims game, probably 2008. Because at that point, I don't know if The Sims 3 came out in 2008 or later, but at some point around that time I switched to The Sims 3. So it just feels so wild to be able to go back and play that game when it's been so long. And like the old original townies, the Goths, the Pleasants, the Smith family, the Calientes, Don Lothario. Oh my god, it's just so nice to be able to play it again. And I was playing around with The Sims 1. The Sims 1 I don't remember as much because I was so young. I probably was playing The Sims 1 before I could even think. There's something just so cool about being able to play those games in the year 2025. The world is healing. And I'm telling everybody about it in my personal life. Everyone I know who like played The Sims at least one time, I'm like, oh my god, did you hear that The Sims 1 and 2 got re-released? You guys have to download it. It's like, oh my god, I'm annoying everybody I know. So it's nice to be able to have like an outlet like Twitter or this YouTube channel where I can talk about it and yap and nobody can say anything because it's my channel. So yeah, if you guys are playing it, tell me how it's going. I love responding to people in the comments and on Twitter and Blue Sky. I always want to know the drama that's happening in your save files. So always, if you feel the need to tell me that your Sims have drama, please tell me. I love it. I feel like my save files lately are completely lacking in drama because I have a family that I've labeled just cozy gameplay, and I always stop bad things from happening to them, but I'm not going to do that in this series. Like, this series is going to be organic, and whatever happens, whatever the game leads me to, whatever choices have to be made. Like, this is going to be a drama-filled series, and I'm excited. I'm excited to just sort of have a breakaway from the routine I've gotten myself into with this game and do something different. And I hope you guys are excited about it too. I hope you guys want to follow along with this series, and I'm always open to suggestions as well. Suggestions for other series, suggestions for episodes or what should happen next. Like, I just love the interaction between the Sims community, so always if there's an idea, like, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, we're coming up on the last couple minutes of this video, which is usually when I end the voiceover. I did cut a lot out of this build, mostly just because I want it to be a little bit of a surprise, so we mainly only did the kitchen, the dining room, the living room, and her bedroom upstairs, but you will see the rest of the house in the actual gameplay. I'm not exactly sure when that'll go up, but it'll probably be next week, maybe Tuesday or Thursday, depending on my class schedule and how hectic assignments get next week. We're just sort of finishing up the first month of the semester, so my courses are starting to pick up a little bit more, so I have a lot more assignments than I did before, so that's a bit of a challenge navigating that, but it'll be up next week regardless. If it's the last thing I do, I will get one up next week. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. Please leave a comment if you have anything you want to share or any ideas, or if you want to tell me about The Sims 2, how The Sims 1 or The Sims 2 is going. I will see you next week. Bye bye.